KIPM, Ignite Passion and Motivation.
Hi everyone. Wow, it's amazing to see so many people coming in from all over the world. I see you Netherlands, I see you Madrid, I see you Philippines, USA. That's a lot of time zones. What time is it for y'all? I'm wondering. Welcome to the Yoast SEO webinar on how to start with SEO. I'm really excited to take you all on this learning journey with us. So yeah, let us know in the chat where you're from, but I'm seeing Nigeria, Spain, 7 a.m. I respect the commitment to the learning intensely and amazingly. I'm from the Netherlands. I can't hear anything. If you can't hear anything, try the good old refresh. That should set it up. We have stress tested this and it should work. So if you can't hear us, just try refreshing it. You'll miss 10 seconds of us beautiful bantering. There is no sound. Again, Cynthia, please try refreshing or try a different browser. Google Chrome and Edge tend to work. Tap to unmute.
There might be a good one. There's an unmute button, yeah. Okay, Icy says there's a blue button on the video that said tap to unmute.
Elizabeth, Isis, James, thank you for Irina. Thank you so much for helping each other out. I love the community that always shows up to this. Yeah, and if you have to drop out or you're worried about leaving early, don't worry. We have a beautiful recording ready for you that will be sent to you automatically via email once we're done with this. But we'll give people 1 or 2 minutes to drop in, just so everyone can get to know each other. You guys are frozen. Again, Jacqueline, please try refreshing over a different browser. Chrome and Google, Chrome and Edge work really well. Firefox, I cannot vouch for this webinar, unfortunately. Brad asked, will you be sending us the slides? No, we're not sending separate slides. You get the full presentations alongside with our beautiful demos, our pre-show banter, shall we say. So yeah, I'm Anne, and the other person is not actually called Joost Kroutcast. He's called Raphael.
Oh, yeah.
Raphael, are we
so
about
how's the video quality, audio quality? Can you hear me? Because I just got cut off for a second there. Everything looking good?
Raphael Kroutcast.
Let's go. So, hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. So thank you, everyone, for your patience. Yes, thank you, everyone, for your confirmation. I appreciate it. So everyone, welcome to this Yoast Intro to SEO webinar. So we've already seen so many of you coming from all over the world. Like Annie said, I respect that, getting up at 7 a.m., 6 a.m. for a SEO webinar. So thank you, everyone. So I'd like to start by thanking you all for joining us for this webinar that will introduce you to the world of SEO. So we know that getting started with SEO can feel overwhelming, but after this webinar, you'll feel confident enough to start improving the SEO of your website yourself. So I'm going to start by sharing my screen. And we can get this started. How does that look? Perfect. I still see people that said there's problems with audio. There will be a replay, but if yes, I see a few people saying that a refresh does help. There's also a blue button that says unmute. All right, audio fine here. All right, let's continue. So if you're unsure because you heard that SEO does not provide any guarantees on performance, this webinar will show you why SEO is so important for your site's growth. If you're worried about where to start with SEO or about making mistakes along the way, you will learn exactly what aspects of SEO you need to follow to develop a specific aspect of your site. And for people that already have some SEO experience already, this will be an opportunity to review fundamentals and to continue up-leveling your SEO skills. So before we jump into where to start with SEO, let's take a moment to introduce ourselves. Hi there, I'm Rafael, not Yoast Podcast. I've been a support engineer at Yoast for 8 years now. And I take all of our wonderful premium customers' questions via email, and I help everyone out with their questions about how to use Yoast. And this is my colleague Annie, who will also be presenting information and answering questions during the webinar.
So, hi everyone, I'm Anne. I'm the e-learning editor. What that kind of means is I run both the Yoast SEO Academy as well as the Yoast SEO Help Center, which basically means I'm in charge of explaining many things to you. You might have already heard me because I do a lot of the voiceovers as well in the Help Center. But so I'm really excited to take you on a live journey to start your SEO learning journey with us.
Perfect. All right, so what are we going to be discussing today? So we're going to start by explaining what SEO means exactly, and then we're going to cover the two key areas of SEO, content SEO and technical SEO. In the content SEO part, we'll focus on how to find the right keywords for your site, how to write killer copy, and how to improve your site structure. After that, we'll get a little technical, but don't worry, because we'll be there to guide you through it. In this section, we'll focus on the crawlability of your site. And finally, we'll wrap things up with a Q&A part where we're going to answer your questions.
If you have any questions during the webinar, please feel free to ask them in the Q&A section. In order to post your questions there, click on the question mark in the lower right sidebar. You can also go there to upvote questions others have posted. So in this way, when we get to the Q&A sections, we can really focus on the topics that really interest you. So even if you don't have a question of your own, check it out and see what you really want to know. And I've seen some questions flying in the chat, but don't worry, there will be a recording of the webinar available. Following the webinar, you'll receive an email containing the replay link. The mail will also include a really useful and practical checklist on SEO that can help you to get started. Okay, now focus, let's start for real. First, we need to make sure we understand the basics. And there's nothing more fundamental than the question, what actually is SEO? Raphael, can you help us out here?
I will definitely try. So absolutely. Let's use an example. Let's say there is someone who has just heard the term transition word and has no idea what that means. What do? They open up Google and they type in what is a transition word. Then they hit enter and they see the top results for this query in Google. And in this case, it's a page from Yoast.com. But how did that page get there? How does Google know this page exists in the first place? And how did Google decide to rank it in the #1 spot? Well, search engines like Google, Bing, DuckDuckGo, and others, they follow links. Links are like connections or pathways between different web pages on the internet. When we humans click on a link, as you all know, it takes us to another page. In a very similar way, search engines use crawlers, also called spiders, that go around the internet and follow links from one web page to another. Because crawlers crawl, we call this process crawling. And once crawlers reach a page, they read through the web page content, and then they save it in a gigantic database, which is called the index. If a page is in the index, we say that it's been indexed. Only once a page has been indexed, a search engine can show it in the search results. Now, when you search for the term transition word in Google, the search engine will try to match that query with the pages saved in the index. So, to do so, every search engine has an algorithm that determines which page appears in which order in the search results. In other words, how pages are ranked. The way this algorithm works exactly, it's a secret. But Google, for instance, shares a lot of information about which factors are important for ranking. At Yoast, we dedicate a lot of time and effort to stay up to date with the regular changes Google makes to their algorithms. Site owners who want to rank as high as possible in the search results, like the example here on the slide, have to make sure their websites fulfill the expectations of search engines. Or to put it another way, they need to optimize their websites with search engines in mind. This is what we call search engine optimization, or SEO for short. By spending time on SEO, you'll have more people finding your site and staying on it. Now, what's cool about SEO is that it focuses on improving the rankings in the organic search results. These are the search results that aren't paid for. So the 10 links we usually see when we click when we go to make a search on a page, those are the organic search results. So instead of relying on ads and paid promotions, SEO helps your website gain visibility for free. This leads us to another question. Which elements of your site should you focus on in order to optimize your site for search engines? So, Anne, do you have some thoughts on this?
I have many thoughts on this. But at Yoast, what we really recommend is taking a holistic approach to SEO, which means working on all aspects of SEO. With holistic SEO, your primary goal is to create and maintain the best possible website. You might ask, why is it worth doing this? Well, you have to pay attention not only to search engines, but also delivering an excellent user experience overall. Search engines like Google want to provide their user with the best possible search results. And you need to convince them that your site provides that amazing user experience. One more thing, trying to trick search engines won't get you very far. Instead, it's essential to follow a sustainable long-term SEO strategy. Now, we're going to go through the most important elements of SEO just to help you get started. If you want to create web pages that actually rank in the search engine results, you need to provide valuable content to both users and search engines. By content, we mean everything visible on your site. Articles, products, videos, frequently asked questions, all of that and much, much more. Content plays a crucial role in SEO because both your visitors and search engines love content that's meaningful and relevant and well optimized. So in this part of the webinar, we'll focus on the three main aspects of SEO, which help you deliver this high quality content. First, doing keyword research. Second, writing high quality content. And third, improving and optimizing your site structure. So we're going to start with the first step of content SEO, keyword research. This is when you have to decide which specific words to use in your content. And a keyword is the word that sort of best describes the content on your page. It's also what people type when they open a search engine. And naturally, this is the keyword or key phrase that you want your page to come up for. When this is one word, we call it a keyword. Usually it's longer and consists of multiple words, and then we call it a key phrase. However, keep in mind that the words keyword and key phrase are often used interchangeably in the real world. Okay, that should be clear, but how do you go about finding the right keywords that would work for your site? Raphael is going to introduce the main elements of keyword research as 3 key questions. On to you, Raphael.
Thank you. So before you start, think about your mission. Here on the slide, you can see some questions that can help you with this. You can consider, what is the main goal of your business or organization? What makes it special? Who exactly are you trying to reach? And what promises do you make on your website? Take your time and literally write down your mission and your answers to those questions. Once you're able to answer them in detail, you'll have taken the first and most important step in developing your keyword strategy. When you finalize your mission and what you offer, it's time to consider your audience. Who are these people and what are they searching for online? Put yourself in their shoes and think about the words and phrases they would use when looking for information or products like yours. If you skip this part of the optimization process, you might end up using jargon or industry terms that your audience doesn't use when searching for your topics. In that case, your target audience won't be able to find you, and all of your hard work will be in vain. Last, you need to consider your competition. Start by Googling some search terms that you would like to rank for. Take a look at the websites that appear at the top. How big are these companies? Do you think your company would fit within these results? If these companies are too big, you might be better off focusing on some less popular keywords, or you can use keywords that are longer and more specific.
Okay, Raphael's gone through the theoretical part, which is super important. So let's look at a very specific example. What we've got here is Every Day I'm Traveling. It's a travel blog that aims to provide unique travel experiences to its readers. We're going to answer the 3 questions that Raphael introduced using this example site to make more sense of how the process of keyword research works in practice. First question, what makes your company unique? What do you have to offer? We know that there are about 1 billion sites on the web that focus on traveling. What sets apart this site in particular from the competition is their focus on local day-long travel. This is what makes them unique. This is their thing. Question 2, who is your audience? Imagine that the copywriters of this site have done some brainstorming and some audience research, and they've come to the conclusion that their target audience consists of people who are looking for inspiration and practical advice for their commuting and short local adventures. The next important question is, what are the specific keywords that these travel enthusiasts use when searching for traveling ideas and tips? Key phrases they use could be fun commuting ideas or day trip essentials. Based on the key phrase research, all of these key phrases can be used to write content in order to rank well in the search results. And what about your competition? Question 3. Well, here on the slide, you can see the Google results for the search term fun commuting ideas in Osaka. If you can tell, because I know it's a bit small, the top sites in the search results don't focus on fun things to do while commuting in Osaka, but rather more on general information about traveling in the city. So that's an opportunity for our blog to stand out and bring real value to people interested in this question.
I hope that with this example, we've convinced you that even though keyword research can be quite time-consuming, what you get from it is really valuable because it helps you understand what your keyword strategy should be and how to optimize your content accordingly. But what is the next step after you've identified the key phrase you want your site to be found for? This is the time to create content that's optimized for that key phrase. This is important because search engines like Google have certain criteria they look for when deciding how relevant and valuable your content is. That's why you should include your key phrase in strategic places around the content. You should also make sure that the key phrase, to use the key phrase often enough throughout your text, but not too often. Optimizing your content can be challenging, but that's where Yoast SEO comes in. So let me show you how easy it is to optimize your content by using the SEO analysis in Yoast SEO. So let's go to, we have prepared a demo site. So you are all probably very familiar with this screen, hopefully. And let's go. We have a list of posts on this website that we were just talking about, this travel website. Let's go to this post called the 5 Unforgettable Places to Visit on a Trip to Osaka. This is going to show you, this is going to help us see how the Yoast SEO plugin works in the background and get more familiar with how everything works in the analysis. So we have 2 places where you can see Yoast SEO. We have it here in the sidebar. You need to expand it to see the analysis. And we also have it here at the bottom of the screen. So let's use the one here on the sidebar because in the sidebar because it makes it easier to look at our content and also look at what the plugin is telling us that we need to fix. So here at the top, we have what we call the focus key phrase input box. In this case, we use the focus key, the key phrase that we want this post to rank for. In this case, it's 5 places to visit on Osaka trip. We've already entered the focus key phrase here. Then at the right, we have the SEO analysis, we have the readability analysis, and the inclusive language analysis. Let's take a look at what the SEO analysis is telling us. So if we take a look at a few things here, we see that the key phrase was found 2 times, for example. The recommended minimum for a text of this size is at least 3 times. So the plugin is telling us to find new places to add the keyword, the key phrase here. It's also telling us that the key phrase is nowhere to be found in the introduction. This is important because if you include the key phrase at the top in the introductory paragraph of your content, this gives search engines and your users as well, because we have to also focus on our users, what the post is about. So let's test this little eye icon, which is the highlighting function. Super useful because it tells you how we can improve directly inside the content. So let's click on the key phrase density. And as you can see here, it tells us where in the content it's found the focus key phrase. Then let's take a look at the AI optimized feature. Here, it's telling us that the key phrase or synonym does not appear in the first paragraph. And let's use a little bit of magic AI to fix this in the content. If we click the optimize with AI, it takes a little bit of time to think. And it's adding here a suggestion on where we can add the content. As you can see here, whether you're planning your itinerary or looking for inspiration, here are 5 places to visit on your Osaka trip. And the SEO analysis is green because it has resolved that issue. We click on apply, and the issue has been resolved. So that's a quick introduction to the SEO analysis feature in the plugin. Let's go back to our presentation. Just 1 second.
Okay, we'll try and take into account the making it a bit larger. We'll see if we can do that for the next demo as well, if that's okay with you. Thank you, Kenan.
Yeah, is that on the site, or on the demo site that they're referring, or is it the presentation text? The demo site?
How about do the demos first, and please let us know if it's also for the presentation, and we'll see what we can do for you.
Yeah.
The WordPress pages, the demos. Okay. Thank you very much for bringing it to our attention so we can make this easier for you in the future.
Perfect.
Okay.
All right.
Back to the presentation. So thank you so much, Raphael, for that demo. I really like seeing what we can do with the process. So thank you so much. But I would like to add one more thing to the topic of key phrase research. So you just showed us the Yoast SEO analysis by using a post, but the content that people might create can take many different forms. So in WordPress, you can create a page, a category, a product page, custom post types. But the good news is that you will find the SEO analysis in Yoast SEO on all of these pages. And the analysis will be tailored to the specifications on each content type. So if all this talk about different content types is confusing to you, please take advantage of the course WordPress for Beginners. It's one of the courses in the Yoast SEO Academy, which is online training. And this entire course is in fact free. So if you're wondering, can I know more? Yes, you can in the Yoast SEO Academy. It's really useful. And I'm not just saying that because I'm in charge of it. You can find lots of other courses as well. Some are more technical, some are for beginners. And if you have premium, you also have access to even more content like AI for SEO, which came out last year. The content, if I may say so, is quite interactive. We have videos, quizzes, handouts, reading materials, all that. So depending on your learning style, we've got something for everyone. So we really do encourage you to try our Academy courses when you're just starting with SEO, or even if you just know a little bit already. It's always good to refresh. You can go to yoast.st/academy to see all the courses on offer. But let's go back to the importance of keywords. Raphael?
All right. So we just learned why using keywords strategically in your text is vital. But this is just one part of the story. You also need to deliver information that's valuable and engaging to your audience. You need to produce high quality content. Now, why is that important? First of all, search engines appreciate information which is accessible and useful. When you offer great content and the best possible information, you increase your chances of being recognized as the best result. Second, good content helps you stand out from the competition. It establishes your authority, it builds trust, and it attracts more visitors to your site. And third, well-written content improves the overall user experience on your site. When people have a good time on your site, they're more likely to stay on your pages longer, and they can be more willing to buy your products or services.
And all this sounds great, but how do you do it? Again, I want to really keep it practical for today. So there are 3 main elements you need to focus on so that you can end up with content that is both of high quality and SEO friendly. First of all, great content should be original. When you create an article, it should be fresh and different from all the other stuff already out there on the internet. You want to offer something that catches people's attention and makes them want to read it. That said, original content doesn't necessarily mean completely new information. You can still create original content simply by sharing your own perspective, by writing in your own unique style. Think of a review, for example. You can also present an overview of existing information. This can be super valuable, and it can also be done with very technical content. This is how I learn about regex redirects. The second element is findability. You should make sure your content is easy to discover by search engines. You want them to pick up your content and show it in the search results when people are looking for your information. So how do you improve the findability of your content? The simple answer is look at the feedback that Yoast SEO gives you in the SEO analysis. As Raphael's just shown you, Yoast SEO will give you suggestions for how to optimize your content for search engines. For example, by using your key phrase in the right places. And there are even more technical tips that we'll get to in a few minutes' time. The third element of high quality content is readability. This is all about making your content easy to read and to understand by your audience. When your text is well structured and clear, people can easily and quickly grasp the message you're trying to convey. And this is not about intelligence either. You want sleepy people who are on your site at 2 a.m. or people who are reading from a small smartphone screen to find your content easy to read and understand too. And readability is not only important for your human audience, but also for SEO. Search engines also read text, and they appreciate content that is well structured and easy to read because it allows them to understand the main message of your content much easier. When search engines understand what your content is about, they are more likely to rank it high in their search results.
So you might be wondering how to make your text more readable. Luckily, Yoast SEO can also help you with writing readable content. In addition to the SEO analysis, it comes with a readability analysis. So let's quickly see how it works and what it consists of. Let's go back to our demo site. I'm going to try to make it a bit bigger. Let me hide the sidebar. Make this full screen and hide this. hopefully that makes it a bit better. Right. Okay, so we were just talking about readability. Let's focus on improving this frowny red face on the right side of our readability analysis. As we can see, we already have a green light here on the premium SEO analysis. Let's expand the readability analysis. And let's just quickly take a look at what's going on here. So the first thing this is telling us is subheading distribution. One section of your text is longer than the recommended number of words, and it's not separated by any subheadings. So subheadings are this, for example, this that says here, visit Osaka Castle, get hungry at the Cup Noodles Museum. Why are the subheadings important? You don't want your visitors to go into one of your posts and just find a huge wall of text. That's just going to be daunting for anyone. You want to make text easy to read, easy to scan, and information easy to find. So we usually achieve that by adding subheadings to the sections on our content. So users can go into your site, they can browse the content and easily find the information. We also have the paragraph length. One of the paragraphs contains more than the recommended maximum number of words. Again, you don't want your visitors to come in and find a huge wall of text. So let's make things easier for them and for us as well, and just divide things into easy to read paragraphs. So let's just take a look at how we can fix this. First, let's use the I highlight button to see what paragraph it's referring to. And as you can see here, it's highlighted this big paragraph we have here. So let's fix it. And let's just split the paragraph here. And as you can see, we now have a more easy to read text. And the issue here with the long paragraph has been resolved. So we just saw how the readability text works. And we have a lot of assessments here. It says we also have a few assessments for sentence length. We don't want super long, never-ending sentences. You want to split them into, use your periods, use your commas, etc., just to make things easier to read. And it will help not only your users and you, but also search engines better understand what the content is about. So I hope that helps us take a good look at what the readability analysis looks like. I invite you all to also on your own sites take a good browse at what the rest of the assessments. Here we have they're green, but we have consecutive sentences, we have transition words, passive voice. So we have a very comprehensive readability analysis that can help you get the best content out there for you and your users. Right, let's go back to our presentation.
All right, we've just discussed the structure of your text content, but it's also important to optimize the overall structure of your website. This is all about making it easy for both search engines and your visitors to find the information on your site. Without a clear structure, your site might end up being a chaotic collection of posts or products. On the other hand, when your site has a logical and organized structure, it becomes easier for visitors to explore your content, to find what they're looking for, and have a pleasant experience as a whole. Additionally, a good site structure also helps search engines like Google understand the hierarchy and relationships between different web pages on your site. So, time again for the practical side of things. How do you create a solid site structure? Here too, I'm going to break it down into separate actionable steps. For example, if you have an online shop that sells apparel, you could have categories like shoes, accessories, or clothing. They reflect the type of products that you sell. Categories act as a topic section where related content is grouped together. So if I'm a visitor on your site and I like, for example, a pair of sneakers that you sold, I can easily find all the other sneakers you've posted before. Our advice is to have categories that are roughly the same size. This ensures a balanced and consistent site structure. If you have one category with a massive number of products and other categories that have only a few, this will create an imbalanced site structure and will make it harder for users to navigate within your site. If this ends up being the case for you, you probably need to rethink the organization on your site. For example, you can take advantage of the fact that categories can be hierarchical. Here you see that the parent category, shoes, has two child categories, loafers and sneakers. You can also add tags to create a site structure and improve it. Tags work similarly to categories, but they're generally used to describe your posts or product pages in more detail. Tags are often used to group content that spans across categories. For example, if you're adding a product like a loafer that fits within a certain fashion trend, apart from the category loafers, you can add tags like 2025 trends or sustainable. But that's only if you also have other products that fit within these labels. And if you don't, then such additional tags are not necessary. Keep in mind that tags in WordPress are not hashtags, so don't use them the same way that hashtags are often used on other platforms like hashtag influencer, hashtag wishlist. Finally, you can use both categories and tags, but you don't have to. Using only categories is often enough. The important thing to remember is that the categories and tags you use should reflect the main topics of your site's content, so you need to be selective. You thought we were done, but no. You should also set up an internal linking structure. Internal links are links that connect one page on your website to another page on your website. They're links within your site, so that's why they're called internal. Your visitors rely on these links to navigate through your site and to find the content they're looking for. When you provide clear and relevant internal links, it becomes easier for visitors to explore different sections of your website and to discover information that's valuable for them. As you can already guess, search engines also use these internal links to navigate and find content on your site. If there are no links pointing to a particular page, search engines may not even know that it exists. So you should always make sure to link related pages to each other.
All right, thank you, Anne. So now to round up this section, I'd like to show you some Yoast SEO features that help you with optimizing your site structure. So let's go back to our demo site because practice is definitely the best way to learn. All right. So this time, let's click out of this post and let's try a different one. Let's leave. And let's go find a new post. Let's go with a solo travel, discovering the world on your terms. Sounds very interesting. Let's make this full screen and get rid of this sidebar. Right. So I'm going to talk now about what is probably one of my favorite features in the plugin, the internal linking suggestions. Like Anne just explained, internal links are super important because they not only help your users to navigate around the site, find new and interesting content, it also helps search engines crawl the site more efficiently and find interconnected articles or posts or products on your site. So let's go and see what this feature is all about. Right. Let's open the Yoast sidebar. And here on the right, we have the internal linking suggestions feature. What this feature does, it analyzes the content of the post that we're currently viewing, and it will go and search the rest of the site and find other content that is related to this and that it might be interesting to add links from this article to other links on the site. So as we can see here, the plugin analyzed the content and it found quite a few articles. It found one about the ultimate guide to traveling across Europe, culinary travel guide, or it said that right, the crawl of the Balkans. So let's take a look at how this works. So we can use this feature, and let's add a link, an internal link here. Right at the conclusion of the post, we have this sign-off sentence that says, when you're ready to take a next step, check out our ultimate guide to traveling across Europe. Perfect for this link that we have here. So we can copy the link, and we just have to paste it here. And now we've got a nice internal link that when our users finish reading this article, they'll click on the next one and stay on our site, which is great for everyone. So they get to read more of your amazing content. You get more visitors to your site. And we also have in the internal links concept, we also have what are called breadcrumbs. So breadcrumbs are an easy way for your users to navigate around the site. So let me show you how that works. So here at the top of the site, I can add the breadcrumbs block that Yoast can create for you. To do so, I can either use the plus sign here for the block inserter, or I can use a command. I can type a / and select the Yoast breadcrumb block. Let's see what this does. So I just clicked on it, and it created this beautiful breadcrumb section at the top of the post. What did it do? So it gives you the sequence of pages that you had to click on to arrive at this one. So in this case, you have the home page, then the traveling alone category. You can see here, you can see here that this post belongs to the traveling alone category, and then the name of the post we are at, solo traveling. Why is this important? Not only maybe users want to go forward and see the post that I linked to at the bottom of the page, but they can also maybe want to go back and read more content in the traveling alone category. So this is great as well to make content on your site easier to find. That is the purpose of internal linking. Hopefully that was clear. Let's go back to our presentation. All right. So enough about content. Now it's time to get a bit more technical. So remember how search engines work? Let's do a quick review. They use crawlers, also known as spiders, that follow links on the internet. When these crawlers discover your website, they read through your posts and pages, and then they sort that information in a giant database known as the index. Now, you can influence whether these crawlers can crawl and index your pages. This is what we call the crawlability of your website. You can ask the crawler not to crawl and index certain pages on your website. If you put a block on a page of yours, you're saying to the crawler, don't come here. In most cases, the crawler will respect your request and the page doesn't turn up in the search results. But why would you want to prevent the crawler from crawling or indexing parts of your website? Well, optimizing your site's crawlability is important for 3 reasons. First, most sites have pages that shouldn't show up in the search results. For example, you don't want people to find the thank you page that you redirect people to when they contact you, or your checkout success page. Seeing those pages in the search results is of no use to anyone. Second, you can make sure that the crawlers focus on the links and the content that actually have SEO value. Most sites have some unwanted or unnecessary links and content. Removing such URLs in more efficient results in more efficient crawling. This in turn helps Google find and index your best content when you publish or update it. And here's something that you maybe didn't think about before. By making the crawling process more efficient, you're actually contributing to reducing your site's carbon footprint. How, you might ask? Well, search engine crawlers consume resources like web server bandwidth and electricity as they navigate and index web pages. So when you optimize crawlability and minimize unnecessary crawling, you help conserve these resources and you contribute to the greener and more sustainable web. And here's a sneak peek at what the crawl optimization settings in the Yoast SEO plugin look like. All you have to do here is slide a toggle to remove unwanted and unnecessary URLs from your site. However, make sure to read carefully about each option and what it does, so you can make an informed decision on which ones suit your site best. All of our options here on this page have a lot of documentation, and we explain extensively what they do. We don't want you to go around just activating everything, because you might end up blocking something that you didn't want to end up blocking. So it would probably be useful for a lot of you to see how you can do this on a real site. So you guessed it, let's go back to our demo site, and I'll use an example to demonstrate what this looks like. Let's get out of here, and let's go to how to no index a page and how you can control indexing of your pages using Yoast. So like I talked about before, there are some pages that you probably don't want search engines to crawl or to surface in the search results. For example, let's say you have a newsletter sign up page. After your users sign up for the newsletter, you redirect them to a thank you page that is of no use to anyone. So let's go here and find our thank you for subscribing page. One thing I didn't talk about before is Yoast will add, if you check here to the right, it will add a few columns to the posts and pages overview. We can see the SEO score here, readability score, the number of outgoing links, incoming links, etc. And one of the things that you can see here is that we have a few posts that have red SEO scores, some, not here, but once we fix it, they will have green scores. And then we have these ones with blue scores. This means that it's a post that's set to no index. It means the post will not show up in the search results. So if we go to the thank you for subscribing page, we can scroll down, or let's just do it here on the side. Click on advanced, and we have this option here, allow search engines to show this content in the search results. We've selected no, so we have a few options. We have yes, which is the default for all pages on the site, because you probably want all of your pages to be indexed and to be shown in the search results. And then we have the option no, which is the one that has been selected here. So this means that this page will not show up in the search results. And then, as we talked about before, we also have the crawl settings, the crawl optimization settings. These are very extensive, and this is something that definitely requires a bit of care before you go and enable or disable any of these options. So like I said, when you go to the crawl optimization settings, we have this link here at the top to our documentation. I encourage you all to read it before selecting any of these. But we have quite a few things that we can go over here. We have how to remove global feeds from the website. We can we can disable the Yoast, the WordPress API. We can block bots, for example. There are ways to block AI bots, for example, should you decide to do that. Everything here has a reason to exist. We unfortunately, due to time constraints, we cannot go into every single option, but I do encourage you to read and go through these. The choices are overwhelming here because we want it to be very detailed here. Yep. Let's continue. So that's it. We've covered a lot of ground in this webinar, so let's go through the most important takeaways one last time. We've seen that SEO is about creating and maintaining the best possible website. Search engines want to provide users with the best answer to their questions. So if you want to rank high, you need to be the best result possible.
Second, High quality content is key. You need to create content that stands out, engages your audience, and answers their questions. Make sure your content is easy to read and understand, and pay attention to your site structure.
Yes. And third, use Yoast SEO to help you with both your technical SEO, like optimizing your website scrollability, and your content SEO.
The information in this webinar is a foundation for your SEO journey. It's good to remember that SEO is an ongoing process, so don't be intimidated. Just keep learning and keep improving your website little by little. If you really want to get the most out of Yoast SEO, then you need Yoast SEO Premium. And the best news is, as a thank you for hanging in there and joining us and being here with us, we're going to give you a 15% discount on all of our products with the discount code in this slide. Keep in mind, it's only valid until July 28th. So use it quick, get it quick, whilst coupons last. And we want you to be completely happy with the Yoast SEO purchase. I mean, we're confident that you will be, which is within 30 days of any initial purchase, be it Yoast SEO for Shopify, Google Docs add-on, or Premium, Yoast will refund the full price you paid upon request. For more information, you can visit our refund policy. And now, before we dive into the Q&A session, I just wanted to remind you that there will be a recording of the webinar afterwards. Following the webinar, you'll receive an email containing both the replay link and a practical hands-on SEO checklist to assist you in getting started with your SEO efforts. During the Q&A, we'll try to answer as many questions as possible. But if you still have questions afterwards, whether it's about the Yoast product or any aspect of SEO, go to yoast.com and you'll probably find your answer there. We've got a huge database of SEO articles and tutorials that we work very hard to keep up to date. I update it like 5 today, so it should be good. So we're going to leave the discount slide up and then we're going to go into the Q&A. Okay, so at the very, very top, we've got, in this age of AI, does SEO stand tall? Raphael, have you got thoughts, opinions, expertise on this?
That's a very good question. And I saw questions while giving the presentation popping up. So many questions around SEO and AI. So I'm going to say yes, of course. AI, while things are definitely changing in the search engines, there's one thing that will always, users, surfers, visitors will always be using search engines. And it's constantly evolving right now, but it's something that will definitely, SEO will continue to be important. How it evolves and how it's going to look 5 years from now, 2 years from now, something that we still don't know, but we do know that search engines and AI needs to get their content from somewhere. And they will definitely find a way to, they need the websites, and websites will continue to receive visitors from these search results. But like I said, we don't know what this is going to look like for like 5 years from now, but it's constantly evolving, and Yoast stays on top of the changes. We're constantly evolving as well, and bringing all of the features that our customers ask for and need during these changes.
Yeah, and sort of I can add to that like, as the writer and also researcher for the AI for SEO course in the Academy, we've really thought about this. Like, oh, is SEO dead? No, it's not. People always want content that's easily accessible, well-written, easy to find, that sort of elements. So AI definitely changes AI changes SEO, but the principles remain the same. It doesn't matter if you're writing for ChatGPT, you need to get to the point quick. You need to provide a service that matches the question that someone's asking. In the AI for SEO course, where I have like 3 hours to explain all this, because I could give another 4-hour seminar on just this topic, but let's not. We've got 5 minutes. You can find like in detail this discussion that we're having. So there are lots of really interesting intersections between AI and SEO. But what it comes down to is that you're writing in the end for humans, and humans are leading the interfaces for ChatGPT, for Copilot, for Gemini, and you need to always keep that human element in mind. So yeah, does SEO stand tall? Yeah, it stands different. It's got a new jacket, but it's still a good way of thinking about creating content that's going to serve as many people as possible. If you want to know about specialized search intent and how to write content, AI for SEO course, it comes with premium in the Academy. It's really good. Not just because I made it. All right.
Thank you for this excellent question, Manjula.
That was a really good question. So then we have Cass D. Is there any specification to making SEO with WordPress?
I'm not sure if I completely understand, but I imagine it's how to start with SEO in WordPress. So there's nothing specific about SEO with WordPress that you need to take into account. There might be some technical things that might be different in WordPress than, I don't know, Shopify, for example. But there's nothing super specific to WordPress. If you're just getting started, I want to point you to the Yoast Academy, because we have the beginner to SEO courses in there. And if you're just getting started with SEO and with WordPress, we also have a WordPress course in the Academy.
Yeah.
Do you have anything to add, Anne?
I'm seeing a couple of other questions, like, can I create an SEO-friendly content layout and specifics of your platform? SEO is independent from any platform. Like, for instance, with WordPress, it's easy to create categories. And of course, our Yoast plugin, which is available also on Shopify. Like in Shopify, you've got collections, which is, again, a really useful way to categorize your things, which is good for SEO. But there isn't one platform that's better at SEO or worse at SEO. Because you will need to put in the effort to find the apps and the plugins that help you and make the content that helps. So it's sort of the other way around. How can I use WordPress to make my SEO shine? And with Yoast SEO, we make that real easy. But is there any specification? Unfortunately, no. But that also means that there are 1,000 ways to get it right. It really depends on what your strategy is and what you want to achieve.
Thank you, Cass.
Thank you. That's a really good question. Then we've got raw videos. How can we get, I saw this one comment really early, which thank you for that. We love the enthusiasm. How can we get a lot of traffic using long tail keywords?
All right. So we spoke a bit about keyword research and what long tail. So for those of you that don't know what long tail keywords are, is trying to find more specific keywords. Let's say you have a website that sells shoes. You're not going to try to rank for the word shoes because you're going to be up against the giants of the web. You're going to be up against Amazon. You're going to be up against Wikipedia for informative articles about shoes. You're going to be up against Nike, for example. But then smaller websites might find their way into the search results for specific search terms, which we call long tail keywords. So you might find ways to rank for barefoot running shoes. For example, I chose the shoes category and I'm not very familiar with shoes, but so now I'm not sure what a more specific niche inside the shoes category might be.
I mean, it's kind of like FM traveling. Well, like, you're not ranking for traveling, you're ranking for the niche. You're ranking for fun things to do while commuting. So if we do shoes, it's not like that. It's like handmade, sustainably made shoes made in Europe. It's sustainably made shoes with great repair facilities. These are the kind of keywords. So what it comes down to is, how can we get a lot of traffic? Again, the answer is, how can I best match what my audience wants? So if you have an audience that wants handmade shoes sustainably made in Europe, which exists, I'm one of them. If you make these shoes, let me know. I'm being silly. It's about matching the audience's needs. So can you get a lot of traffic if you can tap into your audience? Yes, you can.
Yep. And sometimes it might not make sense. Let's say you manage to rank for shoes and you get 10 million visitors a month. Those 10 million visitors may not translate to sales because you want to rank your site for the specific for your specific product. It's better to get 1,000 visitors that want sustainably made shoes. You know for sure that they will buy, as opposed to 1 million visitors that are just searching for shoes. So that hopefully that makes it a bit clear. We have a lot of content on long tail keywords on the site as well.
Yeah. And shall we do as a last one? I saw a really interesting one about images. Can we do that one as the last question?
Yep.
Okay.
Yes.
Because I think it's interesting, and the rest we kind of covered. So by Sue Thomas, hi, can anyone tell me how I can create an SEO? What if most of your pages are images, as in an artist website? Raphael, have you got any thoughts on this?
Yes, that's a bit. Well, one of the basics of image optimization, let's call it that, SEO for images, is adding the alt text to all of your images. This is a text that describes what is in the image. So let's say you are a birthday photographer, and then you can add, let's say you have a huge portfolio of all of the photos that you've taken for your event. You can add a descriptive text that is in the code of the page. It might not be visible to users, although that's a part of accessibility. But the description will be embedded in the source code of the page, and search engines can read that. And also for accessibility purposes, that is also for screen readers. So users that might be visually impaired, accessibility is super important. So you want to make sure that your images have the alt text, which describes the image for screen readers as well. Search engines are also getting more and more smart about learning, understanding what an image is about. So those are the two most important points, I would say. I don't know if you have any.
I think there's also an element of, if your website is just a portfolio, then focus on those images and their alt text and their descriptions. But also, are you available? What are your services? You can optimize for that. That wouldn't be an image page, but it would be very important. Are you available as a photographer? What are your rates? What's your availability? Where do you work? These are all pages that you can optimize as an artist. Are you available for commissions? Do you work internationally? Do you work locally? Are you a photographer or an illustrator? And these are the kind of pages you can also SEO optimize. So as an artist, I don't think you're limited to just your images. You have plenty to say about yourself. So use those. Those won't be images, but that will be blog posts. You can talk about your process, what you work with, your equipment. And those are also really valuable opportunities for you to market yourself and promote yourself.
Customer testimonials, for example, very important as well.
Exactly. Okay, we have now definitely gone over time. So we're going to let you go. Thank you so much for being here and hanging in here with us. Thank you so much for all your amazing questions. I know we didn't get through all of them, but Yoast.com really has a ton of answers. And Yoast Academy, join us, continue your learning.
I saw a couple of questions from premium customers. Know that premium customers can always ask us questions at support@yoast.com. Me and my colleagues will be there to help everyone out. And we're also, if you need technical assistance with a free plugin, we're also in the WordPress.org forums. We provide support there as well. If you search for Yoast support, WordPress.org should be the first result. And you can also find us there and can ask us questions about how to use the plugin. If you have any problems with the technical issues, etc., we're always there to help.
In which case, bye guys, bye everyone, and happy optimizing. See you soon.
Yes.
And good luck.
Everyone, happy start of your week. Bye. Thank you, Anne. Bye.